General quarters, all hands man your battle stations.
Broadcasting live on WNN 1470 AM, 95.3 FM, iHeartRadio, and the World Wide Web. This is Make America Think Again with your Google Blacklisted host, Tom Trento.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Susie Gold, and I want to welcome everyone to the Trento Hour. Today is Monday, beautiful Monday morning, October 26th, with 7 days to Election Day. We are on WWNN 1470 AM, 95.3 FM, and iHeartRadio, which is worldwide. What's our mission? Our mission is to make America think again. As we all know, we are in a spiritual battle for America. So we look forward to a great show today. And there's something special about today, which is, I don't know if those listeners are aware that today we would like to acknowledge that it is Hillary Clinton's birthday.
Hillary Clinton's birthday.
Wow. She is 73 years old today. And in honor of her birthday, we would like to play a happy birthday song just for her. We chose it just for her.
Okay.
Yeah, so here we go. Mark's going to play the song just for Hillary Clinton. Here we go.
It didn't work. Go ahead. It was supposed to work.
He'll get it working. Mark always.
Is that happy birthday?
It was chosen just for her.
It was chosen. What is it?
Yeah, it was chosen for her. It's so appropriate. It's happy birthday in Russian.
In Russian.
She'll understand it.
She'll understand it. Yeah. It's happy. It kind of
catchy. Yeah, I think it's very appropriate.
Everybody now. Yom Hashima, la, Yom Hashima, Hillary, you're a Russian agent. Hillary, you're going to jail. That's the irony. That's the irony this morning at 9:06. Tom Trento here with Susie Gold. Did you have a good weekend?
I had a great
weekend.
We're
ready,
Did
man.
How was
7
yours?
days, 8 days, whatever. Mark, you doing good?
Yeah, doing good.
Mary?
Lost 10 pounds. I'm doing good.
How's all the producers downstairs, the 20
Mark and
producers
I are trying to lose weight together.
You guys are on
I lost 7. He did better than me.
He did 10 pounds. You lost 7?
I lost 7 pounds. Wow. Yeah, I'm going for another 8, and then I'll hit my target.
Mark lost 10, and I'm gaining the weight that both of you are shedding.
You know, it's good when you have somebody to kind of be on a diet.
Yeah,
I don't even want to call it a diet. I'm going to call it a way of life, because we got to just stick to this, you know.
But Hillary's birthday today, and we honored her because we have a billboard up today.
Yeah.
On the 26th of October. Today is one of the most significant days in my life, in any conservative's life, any constitutionalist life, any originalist, the originalist, we'll have to define that. Anybody who believes in the political philosophy of the founding fathers and the role of the Supreme Court. Today, this evening, Amy Barrett will be
confirmed.
There she is.
Confirmed, and there she is. That's a billboard that we have up now in South Florida. And for those of you who are just listening as you're driving on, listening on WNN 1470 AM 95.3, or as Susie Gold said, iHeartRadio, worldwide, we have Amy Barrett on the left. It says Associate Justice, U.S. Supreme Court. That is the correct title for her once she is confirmed. We put it out before she's confirmed because we have that much faith that this is going to happen.
Well, I feel like this is like a field goal, calling out the field goal kicker just before he kicks it through the goal post at a chip shot.
I can't hear you, Mark. I hope everybody else can.
Yeah, I can hear him.
Look what happened. Obama just fell.
Wait a minute, how timely.
That is perfect.
Wow, that was perfect timing.
We have a caricature of Barack Obama made out of foam rubber, and as the little motivation, here it is for those of you watching. We stick it on top of the camera. This keeps us honest, and this tells us why we're here, to erase what he did. And as we're talking about Amy Barrett, the thing falls down. He felt like one of those statues. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
She's getting confirmed, and Trump is going to win by a landslide because of him just falling in our studio.
That's
that was
right.
pretty good at 9:09 in the
Wow.
morning.
What perfect
We need
timing.
a camera here. Well, we have security cameras. Maybe
No.
we can catch the fall in slow motion.
No.
But put the billboard.
No, Tom. No, it's not happening.
We got it.
Put the billboard back up. There's certain parts of that are very, very important. And there's a method to our madness. We have 3 billboards running. One is the conflict between Joe Biden and China. This one, it's only going to be up for a couple of days. We're going to change it. It's a thank you to President Trump for Amy Barrett, which is going to revolutionize the judicial system in the United States of America. So critically important. And why every conservative Jewish people, conservative Christians, politically conservative, need to get out and vote. This is amazing what this president has done. But Susie Gold, what's it say right under thank you, President Trump?
Yeah, we're going to wish Hillary a happy birthday.
Yes,
happy
her birthday.
Hillary.
We're wishing her happy birthday. Now,
That's
we're doing
very nice
that,
of us.
I would say in English literature, that's called sarcasm.
Yeah.
No, I mean it, Tom.
Or irony. What do you say?
Irony, sarcasm.
Hey,
Yeah, it's
we got to
irony
see what's
or,
behind Amy Coney Barrett.
or twisting the knife. I think that's a metaphor.
Yeah.
Or just poetically justified, using a legal term. Hillary is the antithesis of Amy Barrett. I mean, the complete antithesis. All right. Hillary is the complete antithesis of Amy Barrett. And it's just ironic that the day in which the revolution of the Supreme Court initiates with a conservative panel, at least 5-4 now, vis-a-vis Justice Roberts, it's her birthday.
Yeah.
So we actually put happy birthday on a billboard for Hillary. And
also we have the Constitution and the flag. So that was behind her.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah,
Laura
see the
on the line as
symbolism.
well,
We have
guys.
the United States flag, we have the Constitution and the Bible.
Mhm.
Pretty good things to base your political philosophy on. Who's our next guest?
Yeah, so we have a great guest with us who we love and we know is going to win her seat in Congress. And we have Laura Loomer on the line. And she, of course, is representing District 21. And I have to tell you, Laura, I was sitting at Meisner Park in Boca yesterday, and there was a procession of cars for Trump. And it was led by a big mobile truck that was said on the side, Israelis for Trump. And then there were tons of cars, of which your flag, Laura Loomer, was out. I don't know if you were aware of that, but there was a Loomer flag as part of the procession. And we were just cheering on.
Flag.
A Loomer flag, yes.
Flag.
And I had my Loomer mask on. So we were going inside a restaurant. So how are you, Laura? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. So tell us about what is happening over these next 7 days prior to election with your campaign to unseat Lazy Lois.
Well, things have been really well. This weekend on Saturday, President Trump was in Palm Beach where he voted in West Palm Beach for me. And I got to vote at the same location. Yeah, so I voted at the same location, which was very exciting. And the press, of course, had a meltdown because instead of asking, the number one story of the day wasn't, oh, President Trump voted in Florida. The media decided to make it, oh, did President Trump vote for Laura? And so Laura Loomer. And so when President Trump was on the tarmac getting ready to leave Air Force One, you could hear a barrage of reporters screaming at him, Mr. President, did you vote for Laura Loomer today? Did you vote for Laura Loomer? And he just pauses and he says, did I vote? I voted straight Republican.
Hold on. I have the video. Hold on a second. Let me play it.
That's great. Of course he's voting for Laura Loomer.
Did I vote? I voted straight Republican. Thank
All right, President. Way to go.
That's
So,
great.
we know, but the the president, of course, I was outside of the polling location on Saturday with all of my volunteers, and he saw me, and when he drove by in the motorcade, he gave me 2 thumbs up and mouthed the word Loomer. So, President Trump obviously endorsed me when I won my primary. He tweeted in support of me. It was actually a tweet storm that night. But the media is always trying to make an issue of everything. But I'm on my way now to the early polling locations, and lots of energy here on the ground at the various polling locations in Florida. There's over 200,000 more Republican votes that have been casted than Democrat votes in the state of Florida. And a lot of people think that Miami-Dade County and Palm Beach County are going to go red this year. So if you are registered to vote, go vote. Even if you're one of those cynical people that doesn't necessarily think your vote counts, go vote, because I really do believe we're gonna flip the seats. I'm going to win, and Palm Beach County is going to go red.
That would be amazing.
Message. That's awesome.
If you get rid of her.
Did you know, Laura, that you're in the Amazon Prime movie that just came out, The Plot Against the President?
Yeah, I was told I'm in the movie confronting James Comey.
Yeah, it's an excellent movie, 90-minute movie, just came out, and it's a story of Devin Nunes and a whole variety of people.
Yeah, I know the people who made the film. I actually helped coordinate some of the interviews for them.
Yeah, everyone listening, it's Tom Trento here, 9:15 in the morning, WNN 1470. If you have Amazon Prime, go watch it. The Plot Against the President. And one of the reasons why we played the Happy Birthday in Russia is because of this movie. Once we say goodbye to Laura in a little bit, I'll develop it. But it's an excellent movie, and it shows Devin Nunes just hanging in there, knowing something's fishy with all this stuff Comey and Brennan and Hillary and everybody else is doing. And right at the 59-minute, Comey gets confronted. That's when Laura confronted him about the ethics of what he was doing. So they had your whole question there. They cut to a shot where they could see you. It was very good. Congratulations, you're in the movie.
Yep.
Well, thank you. And yesterday too, at one of the polling locations, a funny story just to show you. Of course, the Democrats cheating at the polls. It's a crime to rip up somebody's sign. It's a crime to remove signs. It's called election tampering. And if you get caught doing it, you can go to jail. So yesterday in West Boca, there was one Lois Frankel sign. I haven't seen any signs anywhere else. And there was talk that Lois was going to potentially show up at West Boca. And I showed up, and then of course she was nowhere to be found. So I guess she decided to sit it out, which is pretty normal, because that's what she does every day. And one of my signs was put right near the area where all the signs were. And one of Lois Frankel's and the Joe Biden staffers with the Palm Beach Democrat Party, and they had, of course, their tent with the Palm Beach Democrat Party logo. She ripped up my sign, and we got it on video, and she did it right in front of the police officer. And everybody started yelling, "That's election tampering, that's illegal." And then so you see the Joe Biden supporter, the other guy who witnessed, he even said to the other woman who ripped it up, "Oh, that's a crime. You can't do that. We need to put it back." And so he picks up my sign and puts it right in front of Lois Frankel's. But, look,
Oh, perfect.
That's great.
And then, because my volunteers and I are so generous, we made sure to give, the Palm Beach Democrats 13 more Laura Loomer for Congress signs. We built a wall of
Perfect. Good job.
You're doing awesome, Laura.
But this is, they're bullies. Okay. They're bullies. They lie. They cheat at the polls. Okay. They're trying to intimidate people. And you can't rip up people's signs. And a lot of the Republican signs are going missing throughout the county. And there's been reports of people's Trump cars, like with their vehicles getting spray painted and signs getting torn. And, some people have said that their big signs, the very, very large ones by the street corners, are getting slashed with knives. So it's called election tampering. It's not okay, but the Democrats, that's the only way they can win.
Well, you brought up a really good point, Laura. You got a really good point. Like this morning, I went into the Walgreens to get something, and when I had my Trump mask, and so I didn't wear it right side out. I read it inside out and put the white on. And I didn't want anybody messing with me, as far as your Trump supporter. So I just wore it inside out. Right. And then I started thinking after I did that, how many other people are, and I'm pretty outspoken in person, but how many other people who are doing that same thing that are going to the polls and pulling the lever for Trump? And I think that's what's happening for you too, Laura. I just think there's an undercurrent of people. Do you agree?
Yeah, and I keep on getting a lot of emails and comments when I'm out in public for my CBS interview that aired the other night, because I don't know if you guys saw the interview.
Yes.
But the full hour was posted, and of course, me being the Republican, I get to hit with all of these. I wouldn't say they're hard questions because I handled myself well, but then they have me in a dark room and they want to make me look like a villain. And then with Lois Frankel, she's outside in the sun with a park and trees and flowers.
It didn't help her, believe me. It did not help her.
There's a double standard, and I think that people want people who representing them in Congress who are straight shooters, right? And
right.
And
that's what you are, Laura.
That I'm not. And there's no question that I'm not willing to answer. Yes, I've said controversial things, and yes, I've done controversial things, but I've never harmed anybody. I've never destroyed property. I've never done something that resulted in violence like Antifa and the Joe Biden and Lois Frankel base is doing. And it's just a shame that the media would rather focus on what Republicans say as opposed to the violent actions of the Democrat Party's base.
Right.
And that's what's wrong in our country right now.
Yes,
that's
absolutely. And the Democrats.
I know that people are smart enough, because people came up to me at the polls and said they loved my interview. And they also said how petty it was of Lois Frankel to say what's her name. To act like she
That was so stupid.
Ridiculous.
Who's her name? What's her name?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And you're absolutely right. And you know what? It's when the Democrats don't have substance, so they have to play dirty and do ridiculous things to take down signs and so forth, because they don't have the substance. So thank you so much, Laura. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to hearing great news about you and about your seat, and we have just 7 days to go, so we look forward to you unseating Lazy Lois so that you can work and represent your.
And just for everybody listening too, the lines are a lot shorter now at the polls now that the first few days are done at early voting. So if you haven't voted, get out early, vote. They're open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Various different locations.
Get out and vote, because every vote counts. So thank you so much, Laura. Thank you for joining in.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
Have a great day. Have a great one.
The numbers are crazy, because right now 60 million people voted. 60 million. In 2016, Trump got 63 million. Hillary got 66. So almost 50% of the people that voted the whole election have already voted. So the number is going to be, it could go to 150 million. We've had 9.5 million last cycle, another million registered. So that's 10.5 million, but there's 14 million registered in Florida. So if we go over 10.5 million, that's what we should get. Anything over that, 10.75, 11 million. These are the Christians that have been sleeping, that we've been working on for 2 years. They're coming out. So very, very, very interesting. Look, I got to take a minute. You usually do an appeal for funds, but I'm having trouble here. I'm going to show the audience. My earphone thing is taped to my leg.
So it doesn't move. So it doesn't.
And it's taped in a particular position so that I could hear, and I can't hear half the time. I'm kind of lip reading. So how much is a wire? About $10? Can anybody make a donation for
$10? Yeah, everybody make a donation for $10.
If everybody listening made a donation of $10, we'd have a budget.
Yeah, we would be able to pay some bills.
Yeah. You can go to the United West, make a $10 donation for Tom's microphone so that he can, or hearing, earpiece, so I could hear what they're saying. So you have to talk a little louder.
Oh,
so
okay.
I can't hear you.
Okay. Do we have another one? Do we have something in the drawer?
That
somewhere?
doesn't work. Our other one
The
doesn't
other
work.
one doesn't
But
work.
if I do this just
Oh,
right, I
no.
can actually hear. I got to just play with it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
All right, look, here's what we're doing. We have so much going on. It's 9:24 in the morning, and people that listen to us here on WNN and iHeart and 95.3, you know, we have phenomenal guests. We bring on subject matter experts. We evaluate very carefully who we want to bring on. We only have an hour, and they have to contribute something to our objective, which is mobilizing 1,000,001 additional, primarily evangelicals. That's the large number, but we got a bunch of Jewish people that just aren't getting out the way they should too. So we're talking to them. What we decided to do this last 8 days, we're going to have an 8-day closing argument countdown to the election. What do you think that is? An 8-day closing argument countdown
Yeah,
to
like
the
when
election.
you're in
That's good.
court and you sum it up and say, okay, these are the arguments that have been presented, and now make your decision.
Have you ever been in court?
Have I ever been in court? No, I
You've
was
never-
actually no, like
you've
I
never
was
been a
I was called in
defendant or
for
a plaintiff?
jury duty, but I
Okay.
was never picked. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, actually, I just sat in as just sat in. Oh, actually, I did in Israel. I did during Omer's trial.
Oh, you
I
sat in
sat
and
in
watched.
and watched.
But were you ever a defendant or a
No,
plaintiff?
no.
You are like
You-
squeaky.
little, yeah, I know, little Miss
Yeah.
Polly Purebrand.
I sat
Man.
Little Miss Polly
I sat
Purebred.
with the audience.
Remember Polly Purebred in the
I've had one or two
run-ins? Yes,
experiences with the court, maybe 10 or 11 or 12,
or 13.
both on the defendant side and the plaintiff side. As an activist, Christian activist on the pro-life issue, you run into a lot of crazy people that want to try to stop you.
So you've never been in jail,
in the
Susie.
early days.
You've never been in jail.
We won't talk about that time. No.
What do you say? I
No.
can't hear him.
You said that I've never been in jail. I said, well, no, not that we're going to talk about it.
Oh,
No,
I
I've never
spent
been
a
in
day
jail.
in jail in Binghamton.
Bing-
Binghamton. What is the name of it?
Binghamton.
Binghamton, New York. It's so much it stays in my head. I was driving tractor trailers in those days, and with a partner, we're driving out of Jersey. We had to go through, I think, to Pennsylvania or someplace, and we had a little piece in New York where we had to kind of go. And I went to my bosses and said, we're going to have to pull permits for New York because it was all big, wide load stuff. And they go, how much? I go, a couple $100. They go, forget about it. Just sneak through. New York. I said, all right, whatever. And as soon as we got on the interstate, the police, the state police, New York State Police, pull us over. Where's your paperwork, driver? So I made believe I went in the glove box, and they go, I seem to be missing it, right? They impounded the trucks, and they go, come on. They took me to downtown Binghamton, New York, and put me in a cell. I couldn't believe it. They put me in a holding cell, about 20 other people.
Wow.
So I go, what are you, crazy? I'm a truck driver. Well, you're impounded when your company pays $400 fine. This is in the 70s. Then you can get out. By the time I took to get the company and wire, it was all day. I spent the whole day from the morning to nighttime. And I had a degree in law enforcement at that point. So I became a jailhouse lawyer. I did. There was this kid there who I started talking to, a black kid. I felt sorry for him. I go, what's going on? He goes, man, I'm being here. I've been here for 10 days and they haven't even heard my case yet. I go, what are you talking about? Oh, I stole something. And to me, it was unjust. So now the courtroom, the jailhouse lawyer, fake lawyer that I had a law enforcement degree. I said, I'm gonna help you, because I knew I was getting out of there. I wasn't gonna be in that place. I went to lunch and they served this soup that tasted terrible. Right? But so I go grab somebody. I said, this is unfair. The kid stole a little something from a store. It's nothing. He needs a hearing. He was being held, for the initial hearing. And they go, what are you talking about? I said, the kid in there, you're holding him. They pull out the paper and he had taken a pillow and smothered an old lady and killed her.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
And they told me a totally fake thing. And I go, what? He goes, look, read the story. Look at his picture. And I go, you put me back in there with him, So I went back. I go, look, you got problems. I'll pray for you. Right? I can't help you. You got bigger problems than I can help you with. Yeah, it was sad. But I spent the day in court. But in court, they have the opening arguments, like you said, which are not evidence. You can say that you want an opening and closing argument. The evidence is presented to the trier of fact, whether it's a judge trial or a jury trial. We have presented over the past 2 years the case for Trump and the case against Biden. But for the next 8 days, we're going to have closing arguments. And if folks out there want to contact us at the unitedwest.org, go to our website. You can give us some insight on what you would like to hear. But I'm going to frame it out today for us. We'll have one or two more guests here and there that can add to it. But basically, this is our time to make our argument why Donald Trump should be reelected and why Joe Biden, who, by the way, did you see Donald Trump? He said yesterday, he goes, Joe Biden thinks I'm George Bush. He called me George yesterday.
Did he really?
He called him George.
You're kidding me. The guy's
You saw
losing it.
right?
Yes.
Tell him what happened.
Yeah.
You saw it.
Yeah, so he totally couldn't remember Trump's name. Yeah, and he just was talking to this reporter, and Jill Biden was sitting next to him. I don't know, she was showing confusion in her face.
I'll be Jill, right?
Yeah.
And you be Joe, and you do
Yeah.
the George.
So I'm Joe, and then he said, I don't remember what they were talking about, but he said, this has been, a horrible since George, Trump.
But he said George twice. He goes, we're fighting for the soul of America, and do we really want George? And Jill's like this, like, oh God, what is he talking about? And
he was about to say Bush.
George. He was going to say George Bush.
Yeah.
And Trump said the moderator went like this.
Yeah.
And said, it's not George. It's not George.
And then he said Trump. Yeah. But he corrected himself.
There, I have it.
Not because I'm running, but because who I'm running against. This is the most consequential election in a long time. And the character of the country, in my view, is literally on the ballot. What kind of country we're going to be? 4 more years of George. George, he is going to find ourselves in a position where, if Trump gets elected, we're going to be in a different world, and so.
Yeah.
So off camera, they're going like this. It ain't George. It ain't
no,
George.
no, wrong one.
Jill's just there. You got to give Jill credit for dealing with this stuff. It's kind of sad, but when people hate
sad.
people,
It is
the hate
sad.
vote is a strong vote. People are voting.
What? I'm going to interrupt you because I just want to follow that thought. Is that it's sad what's happening, that he's being put in this situation. It's shame on the people that put him there. Shame on his wife for
It's elder
allowing
abuse.
this.
It really is.
And it's a power trip, to be the president, to be the first. She was the second lady.
Yeah,
she wants to be the first lady,
right.
even if it's just in symbolically.
Shame on them, though, taking advantage of this situation.
So what we're going to do, folks, is we're going to provide you with truth-based reasons. And we've chose those words very carefully. Truth-based reasons. This is going to be a graduate course in understanding political philosophy over the next 8 days. But we're going to bring the difficult stuff down to the lower shelf, the cookies to the lower shelf. And we're going to give you an affirmative argument as to why you can proudly say, I'm voting for Donald Trump, both his personality and his policies, because those are combined, his personality and his policies. And the second in charge, a heartbeat away, sadly, in our past history, a bullet away, a heart attack away. The second person, did anybody see the interview with Kamala, whatever her name is, yesterday?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I would like to see it if you actually sent me the clip.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, I saw an interview. It was on, I think it was ABC or one of those.
60 Minutes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that one. Okay.
what's her name? Nora O'Donnell.
Nora O'Donnell
was interviewing her. Did you see it?
I did.
And
I
she
did.
starts cackling, and
yeah, she was just laughing at the questions and didn't answer the questions.
she
but
says,
just was,
Donald Trump has accused you of being the most liberal
yes.
senator in the history in the country right now. And she goes, ha, 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 ha. She has that Hillary cackle.
Yeah.
Ha, ha, ha. And Nora O'Donnell just looked at her and said, well, actually, True Vote or TrueGov, an independent entity, has rated you based upon your voting record as the most liberal senator. You voted for the Green Deal. You voted for universal health care. You voted for full marijuana throughout the whole country. Joe Biden doesn't believe in any of those. She stopped, didn't know what to do. This is an ill lady.
Yeah.
She is ill.
Yeah. And I think at that point she said that she would take Biden's lead. So
she what?
She would take Biden's lead.
Yeah. I'll do whatever Joe wants.
Because you know what they were dealing with
the-
here is like they are just career politicians. They just say what it is that this is theatrics.
Which is why Trump is so popular and so effective, because he's not. Do you have that Hunter Biden new commercial we just got?
Yes.
Okay, we'll play that in a little bit. I have a list. This is for our listening audience and for us. This is a little different show than we normally have. I want to establish a framework of what we're actually going to do over the next couple of days. What is the closing argument? I have that written down here. I think we've established that. Can you add anything to that? Will you make your closing argument?
Right. It's really where you sum up what was discussed over whatever period of time. And, the issues have been stated. They're all out there. And now we sum it up and we say, okay, this is our closing argument as to why Donald Trump is the best and most well-suited candidate to continue his presidency and to fulfill this position. So these are the reasons.
And the framework in which we're doing it. And for those of you driving and listening, it's 9:36 in the morning. Tom Trento with Susie Gold here. My co-host Mark is in the control room. Mary's flying the Zoom machine. She flies the Zoom machine.
Mary does everything.
She does everything. She's amazing.
We love Mary.
Out of another state. She's in the state of confusion up there in another state. Right?
Do you know she doesn't sleep too?
I
She's
know.
like
She
sending
pulls
us
everything
messages
off.
at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I believe, is it a rumor, or are we going to be visited by the ghost of Damon Rosen past?
Whatever. I don't know.
I think he's coming in today.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think he'll be here starting tomorrow for the last week. So that should be a lot of fun and interesting. And
I have the Kamala thing if you want.
the what?
I have the Kamala piece.
Oh,
I have the Kamala, the laughter.
What's he got?
the laughter of
Oh,
Kamala.
okay. Again, play it.
Yeah.
This is the Kamala laughter, a cackle. It sounds animalistic almost, non-human.
Yeah, here it goes.
You're very different in the policies that you've supported in the past. You're considered the most liberal United States senator.
Somebody said that, and it actually was Mike Pence on the debate stage. But
yeah, well, actually, the nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator. You supported the Green New Deal. You supported Medicare for all. You've supported legalizing marijuana. Joe Biden doesn't support those things. So are you going to bring the policies, those progressive policies that you supported as senator, into a Biden administration?
what I will do, and I promise you this, and this is what Joe wants me to do, this was part of our deal. I will always share with him my lived experience as it relates to any issue that we confront. And I promised Joe that I will give him that perspective and always be honest with him.
Marxism.
And is that a socialist or progressive perspective?
No. No, it is the perspective of a woman who grew up a black child in America, who was also a prosecutor, who also has a mother who arrived here at the age of 19 from India, who also, you know, likes hip hop. What do you want to know?
Well, I want to give you the opportunity to address this because
she's serious.
at the Republican National Convention, President Trump made the case that Joe Biden is going to be nothing more than a Trojan horse for socialist policies, for the left wing of the Democratic Party. Are you going to push those policies when you're vice president of the United States?
I am not going to be confined to Donald Trump's definition of who I or anybody else is.
Good way now.
And I think America has learned that that would be a mistake.
So just to button that up, because you have fought for Medicare for all. That's not something that Joe Biden supports. If you become vice president, would you say to a President Biden, you know what, we should really be pushing for Medicare for all, not a public option. That's just not going to do it. That's not my value.
I would not have joined the ticket if I didn't support what Joe was proposing. And so our plan includes expanding on everything that Joe together with President Obama.
She's got the cackle. She's smart enough to
that
know
cackle
how to
was
avoid
great. Yeah.
And keep her base with her. I will present myself and my life experiences to Joe. Then we'll smack Joe around a few times, and he'll do what we tell him to do because I'm going to be the next president. That's what she was saying if they get elected. But the closing argument that we're going to be laying out, we've got to have definitions. You have to have a definition as to the political philosophy of each side, because I was listening to Morning Joe this morning, and they sound like us, but the other way around.
It's Morning Mika.
Yeah, Morning Mika. Yeah, Morning Mika, Morning Joe, right? They sound like us, but they're saying, how could you vote for that guy? How could anybody in their right? And it's all over COVID, because in the Oval Office yesterday, some congressman had a big mask on, I guess. And Trump goes, Ron, I forget what the guy's name was, but he goes, that's the biggest mask I've ever seen. You know, he had some big mask on. So Joe went off on the president mocking the guy for having a big mask. Therefore, he's responsible for 200,000 deaths in America.
Yeah, tried for murder, right? Yeah.
So we're going to have to define, as we make our closing argument, what political philosophies are in contention. And there's two. There's the Trump philosophy and the Biden philosophy. We're going to have to drill down a little bit on that. We're going to have to look at the role of the judiciary in each. We're going to have to look at the role of the executive branch in each, and the role of God, whether or not God plays a role. And so these are the kind of things we're going to talk about, which will be, I think, pretty educational, but we'll still do a little entertainment with all of this. That's for sure. One thing I wanted to bring out when you play the Russian, and thank you for getting the Russian happy birthday song.
Happy birthday.
The irony, and if you see this movie that we referenced with Laura, the plot against the president, they basically
on Amazon.
It's on Amazon Prime. They basically make the point that the whole effort to tie the Trump administration and his whole universe of people around him to be Russian agents was exactly what Hillary Clinton was doing. She got Christopher Steele, who had involvement with Russia. The whole thing was a scam. The FBI was in on it. The CIA was in on it. And they were knowingly, not blindly, tools of the Russian government to cause discord. And they were the ones that didn't want to recognize a legitimately chosen president. So just the opposite of what they were saying occurred, Trump being an agent of Russia, was indeed what they were doing, thus the Russian happy birthday song for Hillary. This dovetails right now into Hunter Biden being very involved with the Ukraine and China, being an agent for these other countries. So before we get into the closing argument, have you seen the stuff that's going around the internet with Hunter Biden?
Yeah.
With porno things.
Oh, yeah, with his laptop. And
you saw that stuff?
Yeah.
I know that has nothing to do with Joe, but it's just, it's just sad to see someone go down that rabbit, that path.
Well,
the guy's an intelligent guy too, and he's an intelligent guy.
There's also monies that are at question as to where those monies were received from, whether it was Ukraine or what's being hypothesized or suggested, that needs to be investigated and needs to be brought out to the public, because these are from foreign countries. And Joe clearly said during the debates that he did not take foreign money. Well, it seems like his whole family is very well off in the millions and you take Hunter Biden, who is not qualified to hold a position in the Ukraine or anywhere for that matter. He wasn't even educated nor had experience in the areas that he was hired to do work, and then walks away making hundreds of thousands of dollars, amounting to really millions of dollars. So, I mean, you have somebody running for president, and everything is open to the public to know the person that we're voting for. Hopefully, we're not voting for in this case, but that should be brought out into the open. And so this whole thing with the laptop, it was sitting on a shelf somewhere, and the FBI didn't do anything about it. Ends up in Giuliani's lap. But and then there's this question of the money, which the public has a right to know what is going on. Where's this money coming from, and how his family has benefited.
Millions, not just him, but his brothers, his sons, everybody is multimillionaires. How do you become a multimillionaire house developer with never being ever built or even change a light socket in a house?
Well, this is the closing argument element for us. Our focus over the next 8 days, closing argument. And the difficulty is, we're Susie is an observant Jew. Mark, myself, we're evangelical Christians. Mary's a Catholic Christian up north there, and our group is either Bible-believing Jews or Bible-believing Christians. And there's a serious element in all of that to the concept of grace. Somebody falls down, we fall down. God is gracious towards us, helps us back up. So in the same sense, people fall down. It's our natural inclination as believers to help them back up. So when you see somebody like Hunter, and apparently there's thousands of these pictures, he's in pornographic movies, smoking crack, laughing, doing all this. I mean, horrendous stuff. He's obviously got all kinds of problems. You go, all right, how do we make a closing argument that this family should not be entrusted with leading the United States of America? I mean, you can compare the Trump kids with the Biden family. And I mean, he's got a daughter that's a drug addict and a sex addict and all this other stuff. Bo sadly died. He was the military guy and the most stable one. But from our point of view, helping the people who haven't decided yet to have a closing argument, it's difficult to navigate when a child is a mess, but that child has influenced the father in such a way that you got to know about this to vote intelligently on November 3rd. So how do we do that?
Here's my point on this, Tom. Hunter, okay, Joe Biden knew he had a drug problem, at least a drug problem. He probably knew about his sex problem and probably knew about he's out of control. What do you do with that? You put the guy into rehab or whatever you want. You don't put him as liaison for the Russian government, who deals in prostitution, drugs, and everything like that on a massive scale. Really, that's your decision-making mentality, Joe?
Well, I think also, look, the question is, are our politicians representing us? Are they in their position so that they could do good for America? Is that why they chose to go into politics? Or did they choose politics to enrich themselves? And I think that's what some analysis of this. I feel sorry for Hunter. He needs help. He's got, for all the reasons that you already said, he needs help. And others in the family really need help. But that doesn't mean that we have to elect somebody who has such issues in the family and who's using his position in order to enrich his family. So, I think what we need to do is just like, President Trump said, he wants to drain the swamp. And this is exactly what we're talking about, is those politicians that are just enriching themselves. You take Lois Frankel. Where is she?
Lazy.
Why is she not talking to her constituents? That's not what a politician should do. Should a politician who left the presidency like Obama live in a $15 million house in where is it in Martha's Vineyard and have a state, and just like President Trump said during the debates, he says, you've got homes all over the country. Biden didn't deny it, but that's not what politics is about. And actually, you mentioned the Bible, and yes, we are Bible believing people here. And it says in the Torah, it says in the Bible, don't aspire for high positions of power within government, because you know what? You're tempted to do illegal and dishonest things. And I think when you talk about a closing argument, Donald Trump doesn't need the money. In fact, Donald Trump donates all his entire salary from his presidency, which is in the tune of like $400 and something thousand a year. He donates that money. He's certainly not doing this for money and power. He had power. I was reading last night how many companies, it was 100 companies or something, but he didn't need the power. He truly loves America and truly wants to represent us. And this isn't about being a career politician nor lining his pockets with money from our hard working money and taxpayer monies. So I think that's a very strong closing argument.
That's a very, very good point.
Wow, Miss Polly Purebred went upset there, right?
At 9:49 in the morning, we're laying out a closing argument regarding the comparison between the Biden family, and I got something somebody just sent me I'll go to in a second, and the Trump family.
I have the ad, Tom. Don't forget the ad.
I hear Mary, I think.
Yes, to summarize Anna, which was great. Think about it. If we had thinking Americans, all they'd have to do is compare 47 years to 47 months. I think that is the best line Trump has developed.
That's perfect.
If you are a thinking American and you walk through that 47 years against Trump's 47 months, it's quite stark.
One of our listeners texted our listener text line and said, Hunter is an adult, so Joe had limited control over Hunter. Any parent knows that. Do not lose that perspective. The money is the issue.
Yep.
But then another listener, viewer, texted me, breaking news, Gateway Pundit, 8 o'clock this morning. This is just breaking. Exclusive. Text messages. We have not vetted this yet, but I'm reading the Gateway Pundit. We know well because United West and the Gateway Pundit were blacklisted by Google about 6 months ago in a story that the Washington Post ran. Breaking exclusive. Text messages show VP Biden and his wife Jill colluded to suppress Hunter's action with a certain minor. So he, and a good father would try to get in the middle of a son falling apart. But if we compare,
I have it on the screen.
why do people hate Trump's kids? Eric, Donald Jr., Ivanka, Barron, nobody knows anything about.
He's young.
And the other daughter, she's not in the public eye. Why do they hate Donald, the oldest, Eric, and Ivanka? Why do you think people?
Well, I think it's jealousy. Look at what they've done, what they've accomplished, and they're well spoken, they're intelligent. It's like you look at them and you say, you know what, that's what you want to see in leaders, or people who you could aspire and say, you know what, I could learn from them. I can
no
grow
drugs,
from
no
them.
scandals, no this, no that.
There is nothing, and they really have great. They look clean cut. They look like they got their act together. They sound like they have their act together. No family perfect, but we should certainly have people in leadership positions, certainly people that we look up to and that we can learn from and grow from and respect. So look, everybody has their problems, and just like that, whoever it was who sent that message, I do feel bad for Hunter. And there are situations in families. Look, drugs could be an issue. Nobody's perfect.
Every family.
So I say, you know what? Why don't you just give up this fight for presidency and go take care of your family?
Take care of your family.
Yeah, they come first. That's another thing that says in the Bible: take care of yourself, take care of your immediate family. Then you go out to the community, and then you go out to the world. So I think that it's also another statement about him. He's choosing to do politics at his old age, and use the just to use that position for power and take care of your family.
All right, Mark, you had something?
Yeah, the commercial.
Oh, the commercial. Well, let's play the commercial, and let me set it up by. People may not know this. Bo died, brain cancer.
It was very sad.
And then Hunter, who was married, thought it would be a good thing to start fooling around with Bo's widow.
You married her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And got divorced from his wife, married her. Then Hunter thought it would be fun fooling around with a stripper and had a baby with a stripper, denied it being his. Paternity tests, because she wanted money, the stripper, showed it was his. So this guy's all over the place, thus the pornographic literature that the Chinese have. Part of the argument for the closing argument is if the Chinese have all of this stuff on the Bidens, how's that going to affect the president? Do you want a whole family coming in that's so soiled? Here, check out this commercial we just were sent.
Hunter Biden was used as the contact man who took in billions from China's leaders and criminal oligarchs of the Ukraine to buy off our foreign policy while Joe is VP. It's all in Hunter's laptop. While serving as VP, Joe carried his son around on Air Force Two, paid millions plus $65,000 a month for being an expert for the Ukraine Burisma Energy Company, although admits knowing nothing about energy. Joe is seen on video bragging that he forced the firing of a Ukraine prosecutor who was going after his son's criminal dealings and serves on the boards of Chinese companies knee-deep in hate America. Hunter and his dad were bought off by the Chinese nuclear, auto, and rare earth industries, all controlled by the Chinese military establishment, which put our nation in dire peril. Why did Joe fight President Trump's initial ban of flights from China to prevent the Chinese virus from imperiling us? Who gave Joe those orders? And how did Joe become a multimillionaire while serving 47 years as a public servant with funds to own two 12,000 square foot mansions? Come on, Joe. We deserve to learn the truth.
Paid for by Ron Edelstein, 708 West 192nd Street, New York, 10040. Independent of any candidate, not authorized by any candidate or any candidate's committee.
That's a great closing argument.
Yeah, that laid it out pretty well, I would say. Mary is telling me that the New York Post has just come out endorsing President Trump. Very, very interesting. And Michelle is telling me that the Gateway Pundit article goes on to say that both Jill and Joe for years have been running interference with the media to protect the family name and the family's businesses from Hunter's escapades. So, look, if we're making a closing argument, I would say on an emotional level, ladies and gentlemen, we have to have sympathy, compassion, and mercy, and justice, too. I mean, he's violating, if he's fooling around with these young girls, if all of this stuff is true, and it's going to come out because there's a lot of video about this stuff, and if all of this is true, this guy's got a lot of problems, needs to be brought before the courts if there was criminal behavior, and then needs to be brought into rehab institutions and maybe a Christian thing of supposedly their Catholic family. Nevertheless, why do you want all of that baggage moving into 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue when you've seen such a pristine family? People will take issue with the pristine name. Oh, they've got business dealings all over.
Good for them.
Yeah,
good for them. They're
Exactly.
successful.
Well, if
they
you're a Marxist,
did it.
business dealings are immoral. That's what's going on.
And that's why he didn't need this presidency. We need him. He didn't need it, but he knows he loves America and he wants to keep America free.
So on a non-policy issue, you look at the two families, it makes so much more sense to go with the family that's not broken, that's making the country work, than a broken family with a broken father who's obviously broken, and keep the status quo. Don't fix it if it ain't broke.
You got the ladies all fired up today, Tom. Man,
I know, texting all kinds of things.
Yeah, all the ladies fired up today.
Tomorrow we'll get into some policy issues and we'll frame the two political philosophies of both parties, where God fits in, and how you as an intelligent voter can make truth-based decisions on November 3rd or October 31st or 29th or 28th or 27th, whenever you're going to go vote. Okay. That's it. Are we done?
Let Susie take us out.
Where the heck did
Susie,
the
say
hour
goodbye.
go? I want to say goodbye, but what I want to do is I really want to use just a few moments to make a plea. Please click on the donate button. Go on theunitedwest.org. We have expenses that just need to be paid so we can continue the work that we do through to the election and then after the election, because there's going to be some serious issues to contend with after that. Please help us. Thank you. Did I say thank you? Thank you in advance.
Okay, we got to get this.